be back.
There we go.
Okay.
Suppose we are
Let us-
ready to go.
All right. So. Oh, Rafferty's having tech trouble. Give it a second.
His curtain is moving, but he's not. But there he goes.
Hmm. Did I make a Gloomhaven video game?
I think, yeah.
I think so. I think that was a while back, wasn't it?
Probably. I just saw they're releasing new DLC for it, but I don't know. To me, that seems so. There. I don't know how to express it. There's this there's a thin line in certain areas between the world of tabletop games and the world of video games.
Mm-hmm.
I like them both. I think everyone here enjoys them both. I think if you're a big fucking nerd, you probably play a lot of games on both sides of this spectrum. So maybe it's not that weird, but to me, I'm like, there's games that I look at where I'm like, you know what? This would make a really good video game, but it is a really tedious tabletop experience. And vice versa, where like it's like, oh, okay, you made a video game that's trying really, really hard to be a tabletop game or, you know, a tabletop RPG, and you did as good as you could, but it's really not the same thing.
Oh yeah, I've seen like a billion tabletop games that have like a setup that takes like 5 hours and a billion different conditions to keep track of, and it's like,
Right?
all right, if that part was automated, the experience would probably be better.
Right. And like, I haven't played it, but the latest version of Descent, I think I saw a review for, and it basically is like the game has like it's like a GM-less thing, but they have you know, you've got like a phone app that basically tells you how to set up the board, tells you what happens, and has all these events and stuff. And you're like, okay, at this point, you're just kind of like playing a video game at the table.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. And you know what? People are having fun with this stuff, so it really doesn't matter. To me, from, you know, my ivory tower, I look down and I'm like, guys, I feel like there's a better way. Like, if you... Gloomhaven is huge because of what it is as a tabletop game, but I feel like it would just be any of a trillion other dungeon crawling RPGs if you put it in a video game space. And maybe it is. I haven't heard of it
Right.
as a video
I think
game.
there's like a definite like delineation between like the RPG space and like board game space, just on like how easily like one can be computerized. Because like if you consider it just like the medium, like, well, you know, I made a board out of wood, or like I made a board on Tabletop Simulator. It's like most games play exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's because they have formal rules. They're expected to go one singular way, and you're not expected to arbitrate anything. But the more things need to be arbitrated, the less that you could actually like do something as a very discrete computer program that isn't just moving representations of physical objects that you would have otherwise.
Right.
Tabletop Simulator works for like more complicated things. Like I'm playing like a war game right now that has like a billion different things going on, that game in particular would probably work out pretty well as a computerized game because it's a lot of rules that work specific ways that have to work in a certain way and then go a certain way. But obviously, if you're doing something like D&D where it's like everything is arbitration, everything is an ask, you can't really systemize that a whole lot unless you start doing like the CRPG thing where you lay down very discrete paths for people.
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm playing Citizen Sleeper, which is very much that. It's very much a narrative, like, visual novel game that's using sort of, like, clocks and dice rolls and stuff to give it a little bit of an RPG kind of feel to it. And I like it for what it is. I think it's good. I think that, like, it makes a case for itself in what it's doing. On the other side of the fence, though, if you look at board game design, you look at, like, a lot of these Euro games, and I look at them and I'm like, this feels like people who probably should be programming simulation video games but don't know how to program. And maybe that's not fair. I'm sure a lot of them do that too. But a lot of it, you look at it and like the complexity of it, of the systems, there's so much, and so much of it just becomes like mental upkeep, you know, of you moving blocks and turning dials and going through all of this stuff where you're not making choices, you're just incrementing the machine that they've set up. And when I see that, I think
it's a lot of messing with the toy, and like a video game is also pretty good for just messing with the toy because you don't have to understand the toy; you just have to press the buttons, which is also what Rafferty was complaining about earlier. Because if you press the buttons, you don't understand what's going on.
Well, yeah. What makes a video game great is that it obfuscates and black boxes all of the underlying, you know, machinery. On a board game, you're the one who has to increment all of that machinery. And maybe that's fun for people. For me, I think the fun of any game is your decision space. It's like the choices that you get to make that shape or change the, you know, get you closer to your objective, change the game space that you're playing in. That's the game part. The mechanism, I think when it gets to a certain level of complexity, it should just be a video game, you know? And the first time I had this thought was a long time ago, but there was a game, a zombie game, where you're creating this maze of streets and you're populating them with zombies, and as you're moving, you're like looking for the exit and the zombies are swarming you. And just rolling for the zombies and like mechanizing that part was so laborious that I was like, this is like a really long way to go about capturing the feel of a zombie apocalypse.
Someone created a fully realized rule set for an AI, and now you're doing it by hand.
And it's like, if I want to experience being overrun by zombies, I could play Left 4 Dead and get a vastly different, but I think very much more true to the theme experience than I'm getting from this game.
You don't have to also play the zombies.
Yes,
at
right.
the same time that you're trying to also be the survivor.
Exactly. You look at that game and you're like, oh, I get it. They're trying to evoke this idea of like, oh, you're being overwhelmed. Oh, look, there's all these little plastic pieces, and like, that's the part of zombie fiction they're trying to model, sort of like the desperation, the fast decision making, the insurmountable odds. And I'm just looking at it and I say, all of those goals have been met better and in a more immediate and satisfying way by multiple video games that I've played. So yeah, it's kind of like a what's the point thing. But again, I'm sure that's somebody's favorite game. I don't know. Like, the social experience is different with people in board games.
I mean, like, a game being fun and good is different from, like, a game being tedious sometimes. See also the argument, it gets good 120 hours in.
I hate that more than anything. If I can climb on a soapbox.
Once you play long enough to lower your standards, it'll get good.
No, that's exactly it, right? It's like once you have acclimated to the tepid temperature of the water that you've been sitting in for 100 hours, suddenly you start to find joy out of it. And it's like, yeah, eventually you'll acclimate to any kind of torture. I've got a friend right now playing some free-to-play game where you're like you're collecting monsters or eggs or whatever it is.
Oh. And
they're like pissed off because they haven't unlocked the one monster that they've been grinding for like a month.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, you're not even playing a game. This isn't even a game. It's a mental illness. It's like a slot machine. and it's, the joy there is in getting stuff. Which, how could you think of a more perfect thing to target for our modern consumer culture than the feeling of getting stuff? Because that's the core of like 90% of free to play and mobile games. There's no actual game. There's just the rush
a
of
lot of
opening
it is either direct gambling or an abstract representation of gambling.
Exactly.
Including up to having fun bucks on everything, so you don't know what the value of anything is.
Right? Yeah, you're not, and maybe you're not spending real money in every case, but maybe you're not spending real money, but then what you're gambling with is minutes of your life, You're like chasing this high that's going to last you maybe 10 seconds.
Money, you won't have to wait as long for this thing where you're going to have to wait even longer afterwards. Yeah, it's
right.
It's strictly what's the word for exploitation? Yeah, exploit.
Oh yeah. It is exploitative. And it's exploit, and like that's not to say. Listen, I they don't even really do this in fighting games. That's all DLC. But I loved you'd play a fighting game. You'd have to like play through arcade mode a few times. Then you unlock new characters, and you're like, oh, that's great. Like rewards in games used to be something that, leveling up is another great experience. A great example. Rewards in games are great. It is part of the joy of it. It is like feeling like you have earned something tangible for the effort that you put in. But when you realize with these new games that the effort is literally just time, it's just screen time that you've put in, and there's nothing else to it. There's no challenge. There's no skill. There's no use for the things that you have other than the temporary dopamine hit that you get when you're like, oh, I've got this thing. I'm going to look at it for 10 seconds and then forget all about it and move on to the next hit. I don't know, man. I find that very depressing.
Oh yeah, it's immensely depressing. Like, I think really, like, so most of this, like, we could probably say is like mobile games in a nutshell, right?
Yeah.
I feel very disappointed in that entire like market space just because every single thing is trying to ape the addiction pipeline kind of game.
Yeah,
and
that's where the
there's
money is.
genuine room to just make a good game, put it down there, and people will probably swallow it up.
Yeah. Can I, maybe instead of bitching, can I pitch something which is probably my all-time favorite phone game? It's a game called Subterfuge.
Mm-hmm.
Subterfuge, it's basically like Risk. It's like real-time Risk. So it's an online multiplayer game where there's a board. The board is all these nodes, and it takes place at the bottom of the ocean with subs.
Mm-hmm.
But basically, the idea is that you send a sub from one of these nodes, from one of these stations to another station, and it's going to take like 12 hours to get there in real time.
Oh yeah, I think we were doing like a more world conquest kind of game like that a little bit ago. But yeah, same theory.
Sure, there's a few
it's like,
of them.
all right, you're supposed to log in, give your orders, and then come back in 12 hours, so this way you can like do your job or something.
Yeah, exactly.
But still have like some entertainment tweaking with things.
Totally, and I freaking love that game because it's all the strategy and
I think, there's a game I like called DEFCON, where it has like a mode that sets itself to be like 24-hour playtime because it'll take that long to do an entire game. And it just calls it office mode.
Office mode. I love that. I love there's something like so cool.
Back in, go, wait a second, I can see his fleet is moving in on the coast of Japan. He has his subs over there. He's gonna launch nukes.
Right? It's like taking all of the good, juicy tactics and strategy of a board game, but spreading it out from one like 3-hour block to like 2 weeks of just like little bite-sized. I thought it was brilliant. It works well within the format of mobile. It's satisfying, it's fun, it looks good, plays well. That's like, man, wow. Probably the only mobile game that I have respect for. And I'm sure there's more other ones. I should look into the DEFCON one also.
Let me see if I still have the other one on my phone because it had a mobile app version. If it does, I can tell you what its name was. It's not that. It's not that. Nope. Don't think I have it anymore.
Well, if you find it or you remember, let me know because, yeah, it's a standout for me. I've every now and then I'll dip back into some mobile game and just check it out. And every time it's a slideshow. It's a web page that's just, you click next. It's like, congratulations, you saved the world. Uh-oh, the universe is in peril. Click next. Look, you got new cards. Click next. Oh, we used your cards for you. Click next. You saved the universe. Here's some more cards. Would you like to pay us to get even more cards? No.
Yeah. Let's see. It does remind me that, like, I need a new good co-op game at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Vermintide was really good for that for a while. Left 4 Dead was basically what I was doing before that, and then like Team Fortress 2 before that. I think Dark Tide Rising, the new like 40K one, which is a Left 4 Dead like, is coming out soon. That will probably be a good one.
Dark Tide Rising.
Or I don't think
That's
it's Dark
such
Tide
a...
Rising. Maybe I'm adding words. It might just be called Dark Tide or something.
That's a novel. Let's just do Warhammer. Dark Tide. There it is. Dark Tide. Oh, it's a 40K. One of those.
It's 40K shooters going into like a big hive city. It's like, okay, this looks cool. I could definitely enjoy playing a game like this. I already have.
Yeah.
Several times.
Several times before. Probably will several times again. That's
actually,
cool though.
Of all things, I think like a Myriad Song type of game, like a Left 4 Dead kind of game, would probably work perfectly fine.
Interesting. I don't know much about Myriad Song. I know you guys have played it, and I know it's another Cardinal
Ironclaw,
game.
But now you're in space. There you go. You have most of the experience.
Space.
There's a lot of more details, but that's one sentence.
Okay. No. Yeah. Okay. I should look it up.
The powers that people can get are a lot weirder and more interesting, though. And I think Gravity has gone on record stating, like, it's way more of a combat game.
Yeah,
or at least, like,
okay.
The intention is combat game. Everyone has combat. There's a lot of cool combat options. You should be getting better at doing combat.
Right.
But there's a lot of cool stuff in there. And I'm just like, okay, so there's like 20 billion different weapons here. You could make that into like just a set of stuff for an FPS. Throw that into like Unity or Unreal Engine, my first FPS project, and you already basically have half of a game.
Right, yeah. I mean that genre of game just works really well, right? Where it's just like, okay, anytime you have a group of 4 heroes fighting against waves and swarms of other things, you could probably make it into one of those Left 4 Dead likes. And it would probably work very well.
It's also definitely a fair bit easier to like turn any system into that specific thing, because coding up a single character that's a specific example of something is way easier than trying to create like a holistic RPG system of selectable skills.
Yeah.
Which I tried like figuring out like how I was going to design that and how I was going to maybe like do some agile method programming and planning and like get that done. And it's just like, all right, this is maybe too much of a workload to work on. Maybe this needs to be like changed.
Yeah, it's a big ask.
Let's see. So after you is technically away.
Yeah, I mean we can keep going. I thought he'd be back by now.
I thought so too. The only thing is the cameras are messed up. They just gonna change them. He's gonna come back and then he has to change them again.
Right. Okay. I mean, I don't mind tap dancing either. I could talk about games and board games and video games all day, every day.
This is the podcast section of the RPG. You don't get to see our faces, but you get to hear us complain.
Right? Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. What other topic we got here?
I just want to talk about the Sprawl all day, every day.
Sprawl.
Yeah, the Sprawl is that's the Apocalypse Worlds cyberpunk game, and Like I've tried a lot of different Powered by the Apocalypse games, and I'm still wrapping my head around.
It sounds familiar. I think maybe you mentioned it before, but it definitely hasn't stuck in my head yet. Like what have you learned about it that's cool?
So the thing that I like in general about PBTA games is that they tend to be kind of narrative centric. They tend to be flexible. They tend to be easy to teach.
Mm-hmm.
All of these are good things. They're abstract in a way that a lot of D&D type games are specific, right? Like if you're going to play D&D, and this is not for everybody, a lot of people never actually learn how to play D&D and they still play it for years. But when you're going to play D&D, you're poring over spell lists and powers and all these intricate numbers and stuff. And in Apocalypse World games, you're not. You're getting a list on a single sheet that is literally all of your possible moves, and you're circling the one that you want, and then
PBTA is more interested in the abstraction of the idea of what you're doing rather than the very specifics of it. Whereas D&D is very interested in what specific spell did you know today? Did you remember to prepare that?
Exactly, right, and it's very combat is rigid and moment to moment, and everything has timers and stuff. And so in the most abstract version, and I've never played Apocalypse, but I feel like in the most abstract version of this type of game, you're basically just having a conversation, and every so often you trigger a move, you roll some dice to determine the outcome. And sometimes that outcome, is you're picking from a list. But it's very loose. And that's always been what I've struggled to get my head around. But within that framework, certain games have added more complicated stuff. Mm-hmm. Rafferty's back!
Hey! We started the podcast without you.
Can you hear us, Earth to Raph?
Okay, I'm having a minor audio problem. Let's see if I can fix it.
Okay.
But yeah, so the interesting parts of these games is kind of the systems they build around this Apocalypse World framework. And I've played a bunch of different cyberpunk games, and mostly they're just you're in the future, here's all your guns, here's all your robot arms, go nuts, figure it out. What I love about the Sprawl is that the structure of the Sprawl is literally you're going on a mission. So the very first thing you do is you roll a getting the job thing, and when you get the job, you're dealing with one evil megacorporation to go screw over another evil megacorporation, but so that there's no megacorp fingerprints on it, they're hiring you, the scuzzy,
traditional
Blade Runners, whatever,
disposable asset kind of thing.
Right, exactly. So, and then there's a legwork phase where you're researching, a job. It's almost like a heist, actually. It's like a heist game. So you're researching this heist you're going to do. And then there's this action phase where you do the heist, and there's clocks for each of it. And there's, moves that pertain to these different things. And then there's another getting paid move for when you finish the heist part. And that will determine, do you get double crossed? Do you get betrayed? Do you get paid out in full? Are there further complications? And then
have you seen Blades in the Dark?
Yeah, this is sounding a lot like Blades in the Dark.
Interesting.
And it's also like a PBTA similar game, but it went in its own direction. And I'm wondering if you've seen it and if you could make a direct comparison to it, because it sounds what you're describing is faster paced and more abstract, which is probably also good.
I don't know. My complaint about Blades in the Dark was it was too abstract. Was that
interesting?
You were mostly complaining about the setting of it, though, I think.
Well, I was also
I guess a few other things.
The way the GM presented it was and the way the rules are written was that before you would go on a mission, you would decide your posture, are we going to do this as stealth or assault or whatever, and then you would get to answer one question. Mm-hmm. And then that was it. That was all of your prep. Was you would make that roll, then boom, poof, we throw you into the mission. And then when you're in the mission, the only way you're allowed to have prepared or have any resources was with the flashback, where you just said, I managed to bring this or I managed to bring that, which was very irritating to me because it was first of all, a caper mission, part of the fun, the way that's worded is that's very brute force. It's saying we're going to do it this way, and then we do. Whereas I would think a real caper mission would be, okay, well, what does it look like? And then after we look at it, okay, let's handle it this way. Like, instead of going rough, let's go stealth, or their defenses and weaknesses go assault. No. In Blades in the Dark, you pick your posture before you even know.
Right.
And then, because everything's a flashback, you get in this annoying argument with the GM where, well, flashbacks do stress to your character, which kills your character eventually. So the idea was I wasn't allowed to prepare, and if I say I was prepared, I'm doing damage to my character to have prepared for the mission.
Right.
And that to me like felt like anti-heist. Like, heist is. Yeah. I can understand they don't want us to over prepare, but I was getting annoyed that first of all, you're not allowed to prepare, and second of all, saying you're prepared kills your character. And there was the third thing of there was no provisions in Blades in the Dark as written. People can call in and say that you could still do this. That you couldn't do anything if it wasn't a mission. Like, if it wasn't a mission or downtime, you couldn't do it.
Right.
And so I think this is where, like, the simulationist kind of take on, like, the heist genre does better at this in general, because you go through the steps to say, I've prepared to do these things ahead of time and put in the time and energy to do these things. And then I set up to do a plan in a way that I thought was going to be successful, not I'm trying to do it on the fly.
No, I think it. My usual Blades in the Dark, I think I like the ideas, but I just think the implementation was. It was very much that very don't think, just do, which I know a lot of gamers, if you watch us run Ironclaw the way we do it, like, oh my God, when are they going to get to the action? Like, there are lots of people who complain, and the heist genre will have some players like just losing their shit because it's like, why are you guys debating every single bit of this? Why aren't you playing? So the hacker is
going to have 5 sessions in a row setting up, and then someone is going to walk in and shoot somebody, and it's going to ruin all the preparation.
So
that's part of the fun.
Yeah, no. The flip side of this is Wicked Ones, I think, handled it way better.
Yeah.
Because Wicked Ones had the same thing of where you picked a posture. It's based on Blades in the Dark. But in Wicked Ones, stress doesn't kill your character. Stress removes your character from play temporarily. And in fact, you almost, like in Wicked Ones, the only way to raise attributes is to almost get killed or flip out. Like, if your character maxed out their strat, just flip the fuck out. Chance to raise your stats. And so in Wicked Ones, your goal is to flip the fuck out. But flip the fuck out at the right time. So in Wicked Ones, I didn't mind the lack of preparation so much because it was like, I'm doing this balancing act of I'm trying to stress my character out, but balance it to where I will stress out at the end of the adventure, rather than Blades in the Dark, which is where you don't want stress at all for any reason. And that, I think, is where they fell apart. Now, it sounds like Sprawl doesn't have stress at all as a mechanic. So,
no, they do have a flashback thing. So they do have a legwork section, which is governed by a clock. So the more legwork you do, the more, heat and attention you're drawing to your group, right? So you can finish your research phase whenever you want, but the longer it goes, the more it's going to start making things difficult. Security goes up and stuff in the action phase.
And heat's a mechanic we have in Bleeding Edge. And I like the idea of heat, because the big problem I always have with Cyberpunk games is you're supposed to be running in the shadows. It's shadow run. You're supposed to be stealthy. But then nothing in the rules encourages you to be stealthy. It's like, the GM will, I don't know, make cops kill you or something. And that's too vague and doesn't communicate to the players when, whereas having a GTA-style heat mechanic that you see as stars in the corner of your screen informs the players that you are doing something you don't want. But once again, it's being honest with the players of calculated risk. Like, me, and especially Theta. It's like, are you saying, if you're not saying no, then we're gonna do it.
Then you do it.
Like exactly. That. It's like we're willing. If you do this, a bad thing happens. It's like we're willing to pay that price. And in a Cyberpunk game, I think that's paramount. That it should be.
Yeah.
It's not a question of whether if you can't. it's not usually a question of whether you can do it. It's a question of whether you would do it, and
right.
Those are interesting questions. So I hope you guys didn't delay the game because I wasn't here.
Oh, we were
while
we were waiting.
You're back. You're back. Yeah, yeah.
Though we do have a game. Let's get back.
We do have a game.
Yeah, okay.
So.
Well, as long as I'm back, because everything just went to shit all at once. So I don't usually I reboot before the game, but I didn't because I had everything working.
Yeah. Don't touch it. Don't breathe.
Is the lighting any better?
I say it's about the same.
Okay, I turned on more lights. I get it. Like we're at the level of I need to get better lights.
Right. So. Yeah. Okay. Well, I think it's functioning. You haven't dropped out for like 3 minutes, so let's do it.
It's not until we go live that I'll drop out. Right.
Yeah. So where we were, you guys had determined that there was there's a supply line. They had established a foothold in the coast to the north. Most of the shoreline on this side of the continent is rocky and inhospitable to ships. However, they managed to make landfall, I suppose, with several ships and create a small outpost there. And Anushka knows where it is. She was just there, and she can lead Connor and however many men he cares to bring.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. On the one hand, I was thinking, I really don't want to get mixed up in this, but then I suppose I would have to look at the city and see all the innocent people who are getting hurt by this. And I suppose the sooner we end the war, the sooner these people are saved. So yes, I will come with you.
Okay. It is a noble thing that you do.
If I, hey, I serve with joy and know no fear.
Okay, so the first question I guess that I will ask is how many people are you going to bring with you? Anushka, you know that this outpost has probably like 30 some odd guards stationed and workers who are, offloading this stuff. I guess they're all soldiers, but essentially, yeah. People that are storing the provisions are like offloading and unloading the boats.
Because I'm guessing from what I mean, these would be my guesses, but you can contradict me on this.
No, go right ahead.
First of all, Triskellion is very important in Calabria because it's a good port. Almost everywhere else in Calabria is a shitty port. So, or you can't make landfall at all. So any camp that they made is like hastily improvised and crappy. Like they're like taking boats up to the cliffs, struggling to get stuff up over the cliffs, and then making landfall here in a base. Which means they don't have cannon. So that's the first good news. They could not get cannon here. Guns, yes. Cannon, no. So that's the first good news. The second is how entrenched are they? Because I'm guessing they didn't start building this camp. Like this is totally improvised. There's no ruins or they're not occupying another village.
Right.
They showed up, found a clearing, and started digging up dirt and digging trenches. Like that's what it looks like, right?
Right.
Okay. So, and they've also probably only been here like a day or two. Like this isn't a secret camp that they set up and then sprang on us. Like they didn't make the encampment and then do the war. It's they showed up, started bombarding the building, and started building this when they first showed up, right? So there's only like a day or two of construction, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So no, guys, you should charge in and kill everybody because they're only going to have the most improvised palisades. It's going to be mostly dirt because we are in farmland. So they're not going to have like trees or wooden palisades. It's going to be dirt with maybe spikes at the top. They're probably going to have a lot of pistols and pikes, and it's going to be a lot of close quarter slaughter. Once again, Griffin, pirates represent.
Ooh, yeah, pirates.
Pirates 2000, excellent game. Go play. I mean, the 80s version is great, but no, it's a great game. You should just play it because it colors your thinking.
I'm ready for the mini game, and then to try to sail upwind.
Pirates 2000.
They did an 80s version, and they did like a later version in the late 90s, and which is 3D because Pirates is an old game. It's from the 8-bit era. But the remake that they made is also good. It's a little silly, but it's also good because your crew members fall overboard. You can you can sail over enemy crew members to pick them up. It's hilarious. It's mine now. Get to work.
That's pretty good.
But it has this kind of stuff of like, okay, we split the guys up and we have the one guy's out there in the field getting pummeled by you while the other guys go over here. Sucks to be in this group. And it just gets you in that mindset. So yeah, we need to go there and destroy that camp. And then when the caravans try to land, we can, attack them and they'll leave. Because they're probably lightly gunned or non-gunned. They're probably assuming you're not good. They were probably hoping for shock and awe to destroy the city. They're not expecting Connor, the one-man death machine, to come in here and kill everybody.
Probably not, no.
But they may have deployed their one-man death machine here to fight Connor.
I mean, Jesus, spoilers. Raph, you gotta go ahead and guess the cool twist.
Now. Could be a one-person death machine. I'm not here to judge. But yeah, I mean, that's the other thing I would be worried about is this is a dramatic confrontation because it's a movie. We got to make it personal. Exactly. So you got to fight that CGI orc with the hook hand that they made up for the Hobbit movie, which I didn't like. But you might have liked it, so I'm not here to judge. So so we'll go in there. We have to destroy it. And I suppose I'm here to fight by your side, sir.
It is good to have you.
Hopefully we will live to see another sunrise and be able to say that again.
Yeah. Okay. I want to get the general disposition as you guys launch this attack. So rather than turn this into a battle mat conflict, I'm going to do a theater of the mind abstract thing for a second.
Well, you could do this as a mini warfare because
as a mini warfare. That's what I was thinking.
Well, yeah, because we can address the question here. Because logistics, those guys who are entrenched are better off than us because they've got the defensive advantage, so they've got that. Morale is probably high with us because we repulsed them the first day, and Connor is here,
right?
And we're bringing Connor's entourage, which is like those militiamen go hooray, and the bandit goes, yeah, good job, boss. So morale is probably high. It's like anyone who's seen Connor fight, there's the moment in the story where they would all say, "Oh, Connor, I've seen him take on giant monsters single-handed, and the bat's not bad either."
The bat assassin,
right? So I forget what the other categories are.
We've got the way, the general, disposition, logistics, strength, and training. And morale.
Training's probably equal, and our morale is high. I would assume. So,
I think so.
We get to leave the city and just fight people hand to hand, and not get bombarded by cannonballs and fireballs? Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we could just roll that, and once again, it's that thing you were describing offline, which is roll to see how the disposition starts, and then we can do it.
I like it. Okay, cool. So, yeah, you guys will be rolling.
I don't know what the enemy morale is, so you'll have to choose with the enemy morale and whether they have a boss with them or not. That's secret. You shouldn't tell us that.
Yes. Okay. Right. Okay, yeah. So you guys will be rolling 3d6, 1d8, and a d12. And I will be rolling 2d6 and 3d8.
Right. Well, here we go.
Did that right? And 2d8. Shazoom! You got your 12. Nice. Okay. I count 1, 2, 3 successes on your end. I count 1, 2, 3 successes on my end. Ahaha! Okay.
So it's even up. So I guess, we get over the hill, and, cynical me would say, I wonder if they've seen us yet. Blam! Yeah, they've seen us.
Yeah, I think they know we're here. Okay.
Yeah. So it's, okay, who's seen Quickly Down Under? Theta, you must have seen Quickly Down Under, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's been waiting all day for two of us to line up. So I guess we have to break over the hill and the music's orchestral swells and then we charge and mix it up. If they have a boss who's here to fight Connor, that guy would make him person would make themselves known at this very moment.
They would, and they shall. So among the encampment that they've set up, there's a tent. And as the fighting breaks out, several individuals will exit the tent. These are all foxes who are quite diminutive in stature compared to the wolves that you've been fighting thus far, and that mostly make up the armed forces of this encampment. But as Connor, you're watching your men first cross swords with those of the wolves, you spy this rather diminutive figure stepping out, a gray fox, who does not seem to have any particular notable markings or bearing about him. He's wearing nice armor. It's more so in the fact that the people around him seem to treat him with a certain reverence, a certain distance. And as he steps out, they'll stand in front of him, providing him cover from a stray shot, that kind of thing. But this fox is going to unsling a rather large sword, and he will point it in your direction and say, "Is this the meddlesome knight, Connor Leveux de Écrevisse? Come to my doorstep."
You have me at a disadvantage. You know who I am. I do not know who you are.
Who I am is less important. Think of me as the final retribution for all of your meddling, for all of your schemes, and all of your interference in the workings of the crown. I have I've lost good men to you, and my yes. Suffice to say, if you want something done right, you have to do it yourself.
If you want to exalt Connor's honor, you have to challenge him.
Oh, right. Yes, good. So he says...
So you do basically need to tell him who you are.
That's the... Oh, right. Yeah, okay. So wait. So the honor gift, I can challenge him, and he's compelled to accept the challenge.
Well, so the way it works is Connor might have, if you have honor, you could say, "I swear on my honor that I will, on the honor of the crown, that I am here to defeat you," and that gives you a bonus D12 to anyone who wants to stop you. Now you have if you tap that, you get a bonus D12 to defend against Connor because he's here to stop you. Now, Connor can invoke his honor and say, "Well, I swear on my honor by the Biscobet, I'm here to stop you," which gives Connor the bonus D12, and then those cancel each other out because of the rules. Right. It's like, okay, you were both behaving honorably, so you get that. In other words, if Connor doesn't accept the honorable challenge, that guy gets a bonus D12 to kick your ass.
Okay. All right. So then he would say,
Yeah, well, he might not. If you don't want him to ask his name, he could say, when I speak, it's with the king's voice, and I say that on the honor of the Biscobet and the flag and all that they stand for, I am here to Connor to guide you in single combat, and that Connor could either accept or deny. And if Connor doesn't accept, that guy gets a bonus D12. That's why it's worded that way. It's like either fight me honorably or I get a bonus to kick your ass.
Right, I like that a lot, and I think that you said it better than I ever could. So I'm just gonna say that's exactly what goes down.
I mean, that's not what the book says because we're trying to be all fancy and shit, but that's what it means.
Yeah, I like it, and that's so Connor. He will say on behalf of the Crown Jakoba, I challenge you to single combat.
Oh no, the Jakoba. Now, isn't Jakoba Rinaldi, or I thought you said this was the Visclade?
Well,
these are gray foxes.
But these are gray foxes coming out of that.
Oh, so he's challenging him under Rinaldi.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
No, complicates things.
Does complicate things. Yeah. So you swear in the name of Jakoba that I challenge you to single combat, which shots fired. So yeah. Well, good luck, Connor. I'm here to witness.
I accept.
That also cuts me out of the fight.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, it cuts everyone out of the fight. So one of this fox's entourage bellows out a command, and the wolves will put up their spears and withdraw. And under the acknowledgement that a single combat has been called, you're honorable.
Oh, we're probably still killing each other, but it's like, no one interferes with these two.
Everyone agrees to get out of the way.
Because if we try to interfere, they get a bonus D12 to counterattack our asses.
Yeah.
Just
and also,
you can always pray for help and ruin the honor.
Yeah, and there's also like these guys that are going like, I want to fight Connor when he doesn't have a bonus D12. So it's like, good luck, boss. So good luck, Connor. I can only offer moral support. Meanwhile, that guy's seconds are going to probably. This is important because Ironclaw, because you have the fear rule, you have the you can be afraid. You usually have a second or other entourage where they're cheering you on and can thus rally you out of reeling and afraid.
Right.
So, that's what I'll definitely do for Connor. But this is the moment the music swells, and it's like, we're on Netflix, so this is the last season. So this is the finale.
Yep. Indeed. Actually opened to the right page, the page I wanted. Okay. Alrighty then. Jesus Christ, I wasn't prepared.
It's been an honor serving with you, my lord.
Same. Sorry, I was laughing at Red, but I'm assuming he looked at the NPC sheet he was about to run.
Yeah. It's probably the biggest NPC stat block in the whole book.
Try to die with dignity.
I mean, we will see. Connor is basically a supernaut in his own right. He's rolling his own.
Yeah, but
he's rolling a lot of D12s.
There's always that random chance that you might get overkilled. Try to die with dignity.
Remember, everyone, you can turn to your page in the book and follow along with how screwed Connor is.
I think everyone has an idea of what's going on here, so I'll just leave it at that.
Well,
but
Connor's not. You're fresh, right? You're not injured, right, Connor?
Right.
No.
Yeah. I am. So I'll just be over here.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Give me just 10 seconds to just read through this whole list and see if anything jumps out as something that needs to be accounted for.
Yeah, well, it didn't occur to me until we started playing with Red. Like, one of the things in Ironclaw is the patience. It's that you don't always want to move and attack. You often want to move and guard and then attack when you can get an aiming bonus. Not as important when you're the supernaut because you've got D12s and everything. So bonus D12 will get you shit. So, because the supernaut is like, I've got D12s all day long, raw, unbridled power. So, it's Connor who has to play a little bit more cagey. You also have toughnesses that you can tap. You have Die Hard, which means it will take it more difficult to take you down. You've got Mob Crusher or Queller, I forget which one's called, but it doesn't matter because you're fighting one-on-one. And I believe you have Bravery as a gift, which means that you can tap that to become unafraid on your own, but you've got Henchmen.
Yeah.
So you've got the complete package. So you have raw power for days. You have nothing to worry about. Connor has everything to worry about.
Yep. Okay. Here we go. So yeah.
So if you're worried about the neutral opening, you can make both guys roll initiative for 4s or better to see who's going to start with focus and who isn't, if that matters to you.
It's more like I want to know who's going to make the first move. I don't mind giving both people focus. So,
okay, you could do that. In which case, I mean, Connor, are you a first blood kind of guy?
With his ambidexterity and the fencing bonuses he gets, he can afford to be a little more aggressive.
So I'm assuming that they would signal each other. Connor, you're a fencer, so you would do the sword in the face salute.
Yeah.
And I don't know how the mysterious champion returns the salute. Probably the same. How is the mysterious champion armed?
Armed.
Like you say, a sword?
A saber. He's got a saber.
A one-handed saber, and what's in his other hand?
A stiletto.
Oh, this is gonna be fun. Don't let him knock you down. All right, then. I guess Connor would move in and attack, and you've got focus. You could interrupt a guard, or you could interrupt to attack.
I think he will probably interrupt to guard,
and then counter.
And then
would I have had a second action to say aim for this?
Since you have focus, you would get 3, so you would aim.
3 total.
Move, aim, and attack.
So aim, move, and attack, basically. Okay.
Yep, and he's going to tap that to guard, and this will be then you motherfucking dice roll off.
Yeah. Yeah.
You roll that.
So, 2d12 damage plus 2.
Yeah. As a supernaut, you got a D12 from your body. You got a D12 from your melee combat. I think that's all the offense dice you have.
Yeah, for a counter, it's just 2, but then 3 with the guard.
3 with the guard, and you're not vengeful yet. So 3d12. Yeah. The scariest thing about these high-level guys, which is why they're listed at 40-1 odds in the book, is because they can lock the shit out of you. Because 3d12, if he rolls a 12, we are done.
Right. But this is the first one, and there's a lot of momentum that can be lost here. So I think I'm going to use my luck. Wait, actually, no. Fencing replay.
Well, and also, see how, let's see. So you've got 11, and he's got a 7. So he's got 2-point hit on you. So do you have a replay?
I do. I have a fencing replay.
You should tap that, because you just took a 2-point hit. So tap that, both of you reroll.
I'm going to... Whacha! That's better. Okay.
See? And then Connor rerolls.
Now you have the 11.
Okay, now you have the... Now, Connor, you're going to tap your fencing replay.
Well, replay means you both reroll. So I rerolled as well and got a 12.
Ching, ching, ching. Yeah, he's got one hit on me.
Okay, I missed that.
Yep,
okay, now is the question of whether you want to tap your luck or not. If you tapped your luck, you would only get it. He's only got a 3-point hit on you. You could tank the 3-point hit, or it's your choice, dude. You got to take the 3-point. It's a 3-point hit. The best you could do with your luck is get a 3-point hit on him.
Right.
So what do you want to do?
I think we'll use it.
Result right now for
we're going to use it. I would feel awful if this guy died without using all the shit that he could use.
All right,
so I'm going to use the luck.
Reroll your D12 for veteran 2 more times, as his luck is tapped.
Here it comes.
I can't stand the tension. I want to make sure I'm still here because I keep dropping out.
All you have to do is roll 12 again.
Connor, we're waiting on these rules.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Connor, re-roll the D12. You have to roll a D12 2 more times and take the shittiest roll out of all 3.
Wow.
You just do not disappoint, do you?
No. Well, you'll take that 9.
So
which will mean that my 11 goes through.
And what is the lucky move that you managed? I guess Connor slips on mud or something?
Before he does anything, I'm going to throw out my fencing replay. My tandem replay, I think it is.
Okay, so you use your luck to make him re-roll that, and he goes, no, and then he's going to stab you with his offhand weapon. So both of you re-roll. Connor slips, the blade comes out of him, Connor goes, no, and then bashes with his buckler. Let's see if that will work instead.
Got my 12.
I'm going with the buckler this time.
All right, show us the roll, Connor.
You can at best tie now. Let's see it happen.
That is a tie.
Simultaneous.
So it's the move. He slips the stabs. He bashes the guy in the face with the buckler. So the buckler does a 2-point hit on our supernaut that he has to soak. And Connor, you take a 3-point hit from the saber.
Yes.
So
now that's a clash.
Yeah.
Jeez, I'm rolling
right.
40.
2 different replays and luck.
So
I'm going
Connor
to
also.
put a token on the board to. Oh, there it is. So I can.
I gotcha.
Status.
All right.
It
so
should
both
be-
of you were sent reeling. Okay. I'm on Connor's side, so I'm going to shout, no, Connor, don't die in the first round.
Does he have at least one backup person to rally him?
He does.
He does,
Me.
yeah.
Good.
and then
the
Connor-
opposite side.
I do too, but they're...
Yeah, that guy probably has at least 1 second, so you could roll for the Supernaut second.
Yeah.
Okay, but I will rally. All right, so both of them have
Aha.
their reeling removed as we yell at them. Now it's the Supernaut's turn.
Yes.
So he's been bashed in the face, and he's not reeling, and neither is Connor. Do you want to aim an attack? I assume that's probably what you would do.
Yeah, I think that's it. I'm trying to see if there's anything else.
There would be the option of guarding, and I don't think there's any reason to do it. So aim an attack for a bonus D12. Connor, I assume you will
Connor's not guarding, right?
I will dodge, not dodge, but parry.
Right.
That's it.
Yeah. And also, Connor's parrying, so it's worth your while. So, all right. Connor has 12s. You'd have to roll and you can't win because he's parrying two-handed.
Oh, shit.
So you don't have to bother rolling.
Oh, okay, yeah. Simplifies
Connor
it.
wins because Connor has two-sided fighting. So you swing, he slips, you stab. Connor parries, gets back to his feet. It's Connor's turn. Connor, are you going to aim an attack?
Indeed.
Okay, and you...
Gee, I'm not going to aim. I'm going to refresh tandem replay that attack.
Oh, okay, you can't do 3 actions. You only get 2.
Right, I'm going to...
Oh, you're
not
going
gonna
to
aim.
replay
I
it.
didn't get knocked down or anything.
That's right. So you're going to refresh tandem replay an attack. That makes sense. All right. I assume you would counter Supernaut. So once again, it's the lovely 2d12.
Yes. Yeah. I like that.
Right. Now that is a terrible hit. So that is a, and you've already spent your luck. Did you want to spend your personality?
Yeah, let's do that now.
What is your personality? Obnoxious.
Personality is wily.
Yep. So it's probably where he just, I lured you in here. Ha! I'm a villain from JoJo. I've let you stab me so I can stab you even harder. It didn't work.
Didn't work. I'm going to use a toughness to turn this into a weak hit.
All right, so that is 1, 2, 3 point hit. Critical is 4, plus 2 is 6. Go ahead and soak it twice because you've tapped toughness.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You take it down to nothing, and you were sent reeling.
Okay.
It is your minion gets to roll the 2d6 to try and rally you out of reeling.
He's rolling 1d8.
Oh.
Reeling is gone.
So he shouts, all right, it is to you, Connor. You are on the offense. Your opponent is not reeling, but he tapped a toughness. You winded him.
I'm going to aim an attack again.
All right, and I assume you'll counter?
Of course.
Yep.
But
so once again, for those of you playing along at home, the actual mechanics are pretty simple. It's the question of what people are tapping to get away with it. What magic does Arcloid roll with?
I don't know, man.
How does he do that?
Yeah, this is still all 12s and 11s.
The main character.
Well, that's a 12 and 11 versus your 10. I don't think you're you haven't had a chance to recharge anything yet. So I assume that's going to be a 1, 2, 3. That's going to be a 5-point hit on the Supernaut.
Okay, I'm going to use another toughness.
All right, so go ahead and soak that.
I do. There we no. 8d10. There we go. 1. Damn. 2,
Jeez.
3. Shit. Okay, so we have hurt and afraid. Hurt.
Okay, so you are hurt. Yeah. So and that was Connor doing the aggressing.
Yes.
Connor draws blood.
So Connor draws for what? Maybe bleed my own blood. That and I don't do anything because it's like wow. So now it's the bad guy's turn, and the bad guy's turn. First, the henchman will try to rally him with 1d8. No, boss, don't die! Not in front of everyone.
Don't die. Oh, but he failed.
no!
Gasp. Okay, so we only have one
the-
action.
So what the boss would do is the boss would tap Relentless so he doesn't go reeling.
Yes, that's free, right?
But you have to recharge it. That's the problem. And you have 2 actions. If I were to suggest anything to you, I would suggest that you would recharge your tandem replay, which you haven't recharged yet.
Okay.
You have that, right? You said you had that?
I do. Yes, tandem replay.
Yeah. Recharge your tandem replay.
And then guard.
And guard, and let him come to you.
Yeah.
So this is the dramatic moment in the movie where he hits you, you stagger back, you look at a moment, and then you snarl at him, and then we close up on Connor. And Connor, what do you do?
I'm going to take a focus turn.
Oh, Connor just focuses. Connor mocks the shit out of you.
Okay.
It's your turn. You have 2 actions. I don't know if you have anything else to recharge.
Do I have anything else to recharge? Nothing that I think I can.
You can name an attack.
Well, first, bravery. Bravery doesn't take an action, does it?
It does. So you could recharge bravery and then attack. You know Connor usually parries, so you're not that worried about his counters.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, I'll do that. I'll use bravery. Or is
attack. Connor, how will you defend yourself?
Going to interrupt the guard and counter.
Okay, so he is going to counter. But you can you might be able to get in because his counter is not as good as his parry. All right, bring it, guys. That's that moment where Connor just stands there, waits for the attack, goads it out of you. Let's see. Go on. It's going to be dramatic.
Again with the 12s. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, that might be it.
So you charge.
We got some stuff
here. My God, that is probably. Well, no, you recharge your replay. You could use your replay and re-roll all of that.
I think we're definitely gonna do that.
So both of you re-roll.
Ugly.
Use the up arrow to re-roll. So that's when he comes in. Connor's skillful feint. You stagger, and that's not much better.
No. Connor, roll your. Because I'm using my tandem replay, so re-roll your
fencing replay. Sorry, not tandem.
My fencing. Right. Gotcha.
I turned off veteran into the tactics. There we go. That's a little better for you. And
it is a little better for me
because I have favor.
Yeah. Reroll.
And it's critical, so that's an extra 1.
Wow! How the hell do you do that? All right, so 12 and 10 is a 2-point hit, plus 1 because it's critical, plus that's a 5-point hit on our boss.
You missed the 8. So I think that's 6. There's an 8, a 10, and a 12. So.
You are a diehard, and you are hurt, so you get an extra D6 with all your soak dice.
Okay. I'm going to use my last toughness on this.
Yes, and that doubles all your dice, so you get an extra 2d6 because even diehard is double.
Yep. Okay, so we're rolling 4, 8, and 2d6. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we soaked.
You shrug all of it off, and then you can tap Relentless if you don't want to be sent reeling.
I will. I'll tap Relentless.
Good, because it's Connor's turn and he's going to kill you.
So many good hits from the protagonist here.
I know.
So Connor sits there, feints it out. You run in, hit the first one. Connor skillfully feints. The second one, more skillful, but still, it's like, what are you? I get it's Connor's turn. He gets 2 actions.
Aim an attack. I'm going to reroll a d12 for favor.
Okay, you make counterattack. You, boss guy, are a vengeful fighter. You've been wounded. You get an extra D12 to all your counterattacks because you've been blooded.
Which is good, because I could use 3D12.
Yep.
Hey!
Simultaneous hits!
Maybe kind of a waste, but...
I'm going to
but I got critical.
Akimbo replay.
Right, so Connor is going to tap and do a replay, so both of you re-roll.
I got the name wrong.
Man.
So it's tandem replay, so you fight with your buckler instead.
Yeah.
All right.
2 12s. It was beautiful.
That's why he taps the replay. But you get to
critical.
But he's got a right. Well, so the bad news is he does get in. The good news is it's only with the buckler, which is a measly 3. What is it? 1, 2,
1, 2, 3.
4
plus 1 is 4. Yep.
Plus 1 because your hurt is 5. So that's a 5-point hit with the buckler.
5-point hit.
Man, if he takes you out with the buckler.
I know, right? Let me see. We'll get to soak. Still get to soak with 4 dice, which is not bad. All right, 3. That soaks it down to 2. Reeling and fear.
Yeah, so you're reeling, hurt, and afraid.
Boosh! It's just the backhand.
Okay, so it's your turn. So your henchman yells at you.
Yep, try it. Okay, no longer reeling.
You could remove the reeling. You could then tap bravery, which I believe you already recharged. So you're not afraid. And then you get 2 actions. Did you want to aim an attack?
Yeah, we're coming down to the end here.
Did you want to recharge fencing replay and attack?
Ooh, those are actually 2 good options, huh?
We'll recharge fencing replay and attack.
I think that you're better off with that. And Connor, will you parry?
Yes.
Or counter? So Connor's going to parry. So you might as well just roll, because even if you miss, he's only parrying.
This is just the most pathetic. Okay, parry easily.
He parries, so you're fine. So Connor
back to you.
Blocks. Connor, you're the aggressor. 2 actions.
Right.
Yeah.
Refresh. What is it? Tandem replay. The one I have, and attack.
Yep. And you will counter. You still get the bonus D12 to counter because you're blooded. I mean, that's the problem with the Supernaut. He's become more dangerous.
Oh, so close.
I love fencing replays. Simultaneous hit. Connor, you are the aggressor. Are you going to take that, or are you going to replay that?
I'm going to throw my personality first and see what happens.
Roll your personality. What is it? Breathe in. All right.
Perfect.
That's a 1, 2, 3. That would be a 4-point hit. We will ask first of all, you're going to take that, right, Connor? You're not going to replay it?
Not yet, no.
Okay. Defender, are you going to take that or replay it?
I guess I'll replay it. Right, we're here, so we might as well.
Both of you reroll. And yes, Connor, you get to reroll the personality die.
Oh, I'm getting worse and worse.
It was a 1-point hit, and you probably just massacred yourself.
That's probably it, but always could have gotten the 12. Yeah, that's brutal.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then a reroll because it's a favorite use. 5. Critical is 7, and you're already hurt. That is an 8-point hit as you sit there and dodge it and turn the other way. And then there's that moment where Connor just puts it in, and it's an 8-point hit. Soak that, and I believe you were out of toughnesses.
I am.
Oh, wow.
I still have my combat save. I soaked it down to a 5-point hit, and I'm using my combat save. So
combat save it's only a 5-point hit, not a 6. So as a 5-point hit,
still standing.
You remove that. You are afraid, injured, and hurt, and stabbed.
Yes.
You were the defender on this. That was Connor stabbing you. So it's your turn. You have fought nobly and with honor. And no one at this moment, I think, would agree, would agree. Are you the type who would surrender? Would you flee? Or would you fight to the death?
Never surrender. He looks almost gleeful, mad with...
All right, first your henchman yells at you.
Roll!
Your henchman can remove your reeling. You get 2 actions. I would suggest
your
for your 2
Highness.
actions. Yeah.
What would you suggest?
I would suggest your 2 actions: recharge recharge fencing replay, because that's saving your life, and guard. If you're gonna go down, make Connor take you down.
Fair enough. Okay.
It's to you, Connor.
Right. Aim and attack.
All right.
One thing I've been forgetting is my honor die. Should I be adding that to my attack?
No, honor doesn't apply because
we canceled it out.
Honor would apply if anyone interfered dishonorably, and no one is.
Right. Okay, so let's roll my aim and attack.
All right.
And
your opponent defends with a bonus D12 because you're vengeful, and a bonus D12 because you guarded.
Because I'm guarded, so 40-12.
Yeah. So you might actually...
Come on!
That is a simultaneous hit. Connor is the aggressor. Are you taking that?
I'm going to take that. I don't think I refreshed my tandem replay yet.
Okay, and I assume as the defender, you'll take that?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That is a simultaneous hit. Connor, you take a 3-point hit. Are you hurt or injured?
No.
All right. Connor takes a 3-point hit. The defender takes a 2, 3, 4, a 5-point hit.
Yeah.
Blood! You got him.
Oh, finally. Okay. And
he'll take a 5-point hit, which you will soak down to 3. So you're still standing. You're just reeling and afraid again.
Yeah.
which you were the defender on that.
Yep.
I will yell at Connor. Oh my god, don't die! Not when we're this close. I failed to rally him! So,
if you really wanted the rally, you can always pray for help.
Connor is still reeling. It's the enemy's turn.
Okay.
He is, now you have to keep track of what you've tapped. Is your bravery currently tapped out?
Mine is yes.
No, first, Red, have your henchman.
I don't think I did. Yeah, I'm gonna try the henchman. I don't think I refreshed the bravery. Come on. Yeah.
I'm going to tap my toughness to see if I can't do anything with that damage.
So currently Connor is reeling. So you would.
Oh, but I can't attack.
There. The Potter rally could come in clutch.
Well, the problem is I'm the second, so.
Yeah.
Then it would be dishonorable, and Connor would roll a d12 to resist.
Yeah.
All right. So boss.
Can I recharge bravery and then use it and then
recharge
attack?
bravery, tap it to use it, and then aggress. Which would
now
be
or never.
2d12 and a bonus d8 against Connor's parry.
Yep. Oh, that parry. 2d12, 2d8, 8 high.
Not very good. Connor has
not very good.
Yeah, and once again, Connor has not failed to roll a 12.
Yep. Okay. Ching.
All right, so you aggress, you lunge at him. He takes it. Connor, it's your turn. Are you just hurt?
I use my toughness, so I wasn't hurt, but I'm reeling. So
but you are reeling, so you recover your reeling.
Recover from reeling and untap. Is toughness a battle gift or Actually, no, I'm going to use my replay.
Toughness is a rest. You can't use it again.
Okay, so I'm going to
so you're going to recover that and recharge your replay. And you're done. All right, so there's the bad guy tang, wailing on you. Hey, bad guy, it's you again, and you have 2 actions. You could recharge something and kill.
Yeah, so I need to check something really quick.
All right.
There's a gift.
What's the gift?
Just bodyguard?
Bodyguard doesn't help you. Bodyguard is you can leap in front of other people to take hits for them.
I know.
But you're in a duel, so you can't actually use that.
Well, I can't, but his people could. They would just be taking penalties for honor.
They would be interfering dishonorably.
I know. But that would be fun. But it's okay.
Right, but it's also your turn to aggress. So,
yeah. All right. We're going to aim and attack.
You're going to not recharge anything? You're just going to
I'm not going to recharge anything. He's on his last legs, and he needs
3d12 to Connor's face. Connor, I assume you'll parry.
Yes.
Because Connor's better at parrying. All right. Show us a 12. That's not a 12. And Connor hasn't rolled terribly yet.
You need to roll terribly, Connor. It's time. You've had enough good rolls. You need to roll terribly.
Yeah, I think almost every major big block I've rolled has had at least one fault in it.
Yeah, you've been rolling good. So show us the magic.
Did you take hurt yet? I thought I hurt you.
Well,
no, we tapped his toughness to shrug it off.
Oh, gotcha.
But you made him use it with toughness. So, all right, show us the magic, Connor. Is Roll20 just being really slow, or is it me?
I'm being slow. I'm sorry. I'm going to attack with the saber.
Oh, you're going to counterattack.
I already parried.
Oh.
Unless you re-rolled. Unless you made
is that the parry for this?
Yes. I parried.
Okay.
Okay. Then there's the 12.
Okay. All right. Well, then that's parried.
Okay, back to you.
It's you, Connor.
Aim and smash.
All right. And once again, the bad guy gets a bonus D12 to counterattack.
That would be lucky in Japan. I'm going to use my... let's see what you roll first. You might roll really worse.
I rolled pretty bad.
He rolled a 1, 3, and 7. So you've got 3 7s versus his 7.
No, he's got an 8 from veteran.
You have an 8? Okay.
Yep. Yeah, so that would be a 3-point hit.
Now, bad guy, you did recharge your fencing replay. You're going to take that.
Yeah, let's use it. We'll use it. Replay. Replay.
Both of you reroll.
Finally, a 12. For all these d12s I'm rolling, I've rolled like 3 12s this whole combat.
I know, it's been miserable. So, Arcloid rerolls. It is a powerful hit. It is a 1, 2, 3 point hit, unless that veteran comes up something different. It does not. It is a 3 point hit on Connor.
And now I'm going to use my just freshly refreshed tandem replay.
Great.
Both of you reroll.
Come on. The dice don't love me.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's pretty awful.
I can't believe you have this much dice in your
You
rolling.
have another reroll, don't you?
No, I think I'm out.
Yeah, because he tapped his fencing replay. The
might be
good news is this is only a hit with the buckler because it's tandem, so it's supposed to be the offhand buckler.
You're right. It's same dice, different damage. Damage
right.
plus one.
So that is a but that oh my god, what is with your buckler? That is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the target's hurt and injured. That is a 7 point hit with the buckler.
Yup. Let's see if we can do all of this. I can keep standing.
You do have an extra 2d6 soak. Once for hurt, once for injured, because you're diehard.
Death by buckler.
1, 2, 3, 4. Still standing. Jesus.
You are reeling and afraid. And you were the aggressor here?
I don't even remember.
No, you were the defender because he's attacking. So if I were you, I would tap Relentless to not go reeling.
Yeah.
And then have your henchman rally you.
Yep.
Which he does to remove afraid. You have 2 actions. You could aim an attack because he only parries.
Yep. Which is what we'll do.
You could guard an attack because he only parries.
You know what? I'm going to guard an attack because I could really use that counter hit bonus.
Or you could tandem. You could actually makes more sense. Recharge fencing, replay, and attack because that's been saving your ass.
It has been. Okay.
All right, recharge that and attack. Connor, are you going to counter or parry?
Parry.
All right, bring it. So it's a 7.
7 high.
It's a miss.
Okay.
So steel clutches. You guys roll around the mud. Connor, it's to you. The man is bleeding out of everything, but won't go down.
Okay, let's refresh tandem replay and attack.
All right, you get 3d12 to counter.
3d12. Right. Come on.
Holy shit. Well, unfortunately, that's an 11 that gets through the 10. I assume the defender wants to re-roll.
Tandem replay. Yeah.
Fencing replay. Both of you
fencing replay.
Come on, show us. No!
Even worse.
We're just so terrible at this.
Yep.
All right, Arcloid re-rolls.
All right. I'm trying to remember what this dice was. Let me just press up.
Can't you just press the up arrow?
Yeah, just press up on this one.
Yeah.
Because this is my fencing replay.
I don't know if that works with macros. Does that not work with macros?
It does work with macros. It's just it doesn't give you all the inputs you gave, and so I'm going to take maybe 2 more seconds.
Roger that.
Yep. So this is evidence we've been playing for too long. The biggest super knot in the book cannot keep up with an XP whatever.
You wanted a keen hit, and that's it. Unless Connor...
How did that happen?
Connor does tandem replay and makes you re-roll. Both of you roll again. So it's a hit, it's a clash, it's a fencing clash. Once again, fencing replay is we have replay with fencing weapons because they are less damage. Both of you re-roll. This time Connor uses the buckler again. How are you rolling worse every time?
I'm going to use my favor now.
You should.
We'll take an apple. We'll wait for this to catch up. All right, that is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 point hit with the buckler on our boss guy. He just can't get past that. He just keeps clanging, and he keeps doing that.
2 points go through. I am once again afraid. Once again reeling.
Yeah.
So we'll roll the d8.
Yeah, the henchman rallies you. I would probably remove the reeling, and then on your end, I would guard and
bravery.
Well, you've already. Well, I thought you tapped bravery.
Refresh. Okay.
But if I were you, I would recharge the replay and guard because he's kicking your ass, and just eat the fear for the moment. But there's fear in your eyes. Now, Connor, this is where you could demand. Connor, are you going to do the focus move again because you don't want to kill him, or are you going to aggress, or do something else?
Part of me is tempted to do a negotiation, reason stump, but that would send him reeling.
It would send you reeling. It would be the noble thing to do.
Guard and negotiation stunt.
Go ahead and roll your mind of negotiation versus the target's mind of negotiation. Offer him something.
Does the Supernaut fighter have negotiation?
No, but he's got D12s and fucking everything.
Yeah, he does have negotiation. He's going to roll 2 D12s because he doesn't have negotiation. He got the 12.
So, Connor, make the proposal and roll.
Send your troops away, and you may live. With my negotiation D12. Okay, I'm lucky I can actually make that roll.
Watch you do it.
And I don't.
Okay, so Connor attempts to reason with you in the dramatic moment in the movie, and he lowers his guard and sends him reeling. There you are, boss guy. You have 2 actions. Your henchman can, scream at you now, kill him now, and try to remove your fear. He does. So you have 2 actions. Did you? You have fencing replay recharged? Are you going to? To attack Connor while he's reeling?
Yes. Yes, I am.
You are a horrible person, and I hate you.
Yep. Yeah.
And since you,
I'm never going to get a better shot. So.
Yeah, I would recommend you either recharge bravery and attack, but you could also aim and attack if you're being suicidal.
I'm going to aim and attack. We need to wrap this up. It's not
12. Connor, are you going to parry? Actually, you can only parry because you are reeling.
Right. Actually, I have a Kimbo fighter, so I could counter if I wanted to. But
are you going to counter? All right.
Wow. Okay. Come on. There's my 12.
There's a 12. Normal NPCs don't get favorite use, so.
Ooh.
So he demands your surrender, and you, say something horrible.
Yep. He'll spit a gob of blood onto the ground and say, "Fool! Drop your guard."
Using my tandem replay to redo this parry.
All right, both of you reroll.
Come on, I can do that again. Yeah.
No! Wait, Connor rolled a 12.
Yeah.
Wow, that was close. So you attack, and Connor barely blocks it with the buckler. Connor, it's to you. I will yell at you. Like, oh, what an asshole! You could have lived, and now Connor's going to kill you.
Boo, no honor.
I will remove your reeling. So recharge your replay and kill this guy.
There it is.
All right, he gets a 3d12 to counter because he's got the extra d12 for being vengeful.
9. Not terrible. Pull out one of your another amazing d12 rolls. Maybe not, but that's still 2.
Yep, that's 11 critical. And 10, which is 2. Critical is 3 plus 2 plus hurt and injured. That is a 7-point hit on the boss.
Okay.
No
more combat.
He's got a lot of soak, so he might not go
down. Actually, wait. That's 3 from 7 leaves 4, which means
and you have an extra 2d6 because you're diehard.
Oh, that's right. I forgot the 2d6. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, okay. Never mind.
All right.
Still standing.
Yeah, Connor, do you actually have double attack?
No.
Oh, okay, because you can finish him off if you have that.
That would be nice, yes.
All right, well, it's the bad guy's turn. He's probably going to recover from reeling and guard.
That's right.
All right, and then Connor, I guess you'll finish him off?
I'll try.
All right. And you'll counterattack, which is a bonus d12, so it's 4d12. Yep.
Right.
I mean, we could make this more complex, but this is a lot more in your favor.
Jesus
And then
heavens.
Reroll my favor.
1, 2, 3. Critical is 4, plus 2 is 6, plus 2 because you're an injured. 8-point hit.
Okay, here we go. Well, that soaks it down from 8 to 4. And I do believe that 4 is dying.
He will go down.
He goes down. There's a gasp from the crowd.
I think so. Yeah, there'll be a gasp. And as he chokes on his own blood, and Connor, I guess, takes no joy in this. And yeah, so I guess what did we roll for we rolled even odds, right?
Yeah. So both sides are still I'm sorry. Both sides are evenly matched.
Right. Well, after Connor defeats their boss, does that tip us a die or two in our favor?
I would say so.
Does that rout them or remove their morale?
Yeah, I would say we could keep rolling this battle, but I feel like this is probably decisive.
It's the dramatic moment.
It's the dramatic moment.
I would suggest that we take heavy losses and they take heavy losses, but after their boss is defeated, then they rout and lose the camp.
Yes, I believe that works.
And Connor, you just have a scratch, right? You tapped a toughness, but you actually didn't. I
didn't get any actual game effect injuries.
Yeah, you just shrug it off. You walk it off.
Yeah.
That could have gone way worse.
I could have.
It was a long and involved exchange, but
I like to think it's pretty because you both have replays, it makes it dramatic because you're sitting there with the flashing blades. He is dying. Whether he dies or not is a subject of rolls, but we would try to take him hostage, I guess. But it's already 1:20, so I guess we won't go too longer with this. So yeah, we burn the camp, blow everything up, and then it's a question of how the next day goes. Because they don't win the next day, they're probably going to start losing guys because when the guys go back to resupply.
Yep.
Their biggest leader and their super not fighter are down.
And because we took heavy casualties, we can't stay. So what we have to do is we have to destroy the camp and then leave, rather than leave an ambush here for when those guys come here and then dish out more. So they're just going to show up and find the camp ruined, which is a problem because they could start resupplying the camp, but they're definitely going to, they have to resupply it. So they're definitely going to lose some guys. And I'm also guessing that when we destroy it, it's we also scuttle boats on the beaches. We make it difficult for them. This is going to make, so this doesn't decide the battle, but it's I said, if they have a lot of mercenaries, a bunch of guys say, well, this became real work. I'm out of here. You promised us we would get this in 3 days. It was you just need 1 more day. You said 3.
You said 3. Pay up. Sorry. I need to do a quick
we're
time.
We're going to have to invoke the clause in our contract that says you'll pay us more money. And then that would be also another dramatic thing, which would just be there's the guy there, the general there. It's if they want to stay, they want to get paid more. It's we can't pay them anymore. We're not authorized. And then there's a question of whether he says, okay, authorized to pay them more, even though we can't. We'll kick that can down the road, or call the invasion off. That's a different dramatic encounter, which that's their own tragedy. I'm just suggesting that. It's I don't know what happens with that. All I know is that we go home. And Potter survived, Connor survived, and I survived.
Yes.
Hooray!
Hooray. Sorry. I need to do a quick pee break. So this is 2 minutes, but then we will wrap this thing up.
The last dramatic pee.
The last dramatic pee.
Wow. I don't know how I expected it to go, but I didn't expect it to be almost that one-sided.
Holy shit! What the fuck is with your roll?
I don't know.
You are too lucky for your own good.
Well, I used to play a lot of backgammon with a neighbor of mine, and he was convinced I could control dice with my mind.
I think there's some credence to this. You actually have a latent superpower here. Will you use it for good now or for evil? Well, I mean, knowing you, it's gonna be evil, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Always.
You're gonna walk into a fast food restaurant and go, "Yes, that was my order," and walk away with it. No one's gonna know. Mm. Gosh, did you roll a 12 on every single check? Well, not that one.
At least 80% of them.
11s. Alright, this buckler check, you actually rolled 3 1s and a 9, so that's your worst so far. Alright, this one has like 4, 5, 5. You got 11, 9, 12, 11, 11, 10. Another 11, 7s, which is so kind of low. 12, 12, 11, 12, 11, 10. Yeah, I would say every other roll here was 12 or 11. That is, though given the amount of dice you're rolling, it's not quite improbable. You're
Hey, am I
rolling
feeding back?
you
No, not
sound
anymore.
good.
So I'm not feeding back.
You were in the beginning of the call, no longer.
Well, I changed the setup. So
Okay.
and with the new setup, the speakers are farther away from the microphone, and the microphone's supposed to be a cardioid. So it's supposed to not pick up stray sound.
That's good.
Yes, I have a new desk, and I am built to my exacting specifications. So
Perfect.
I think getting me better lit is going to be an obstacle, because I think I have to get like natural lamps, which I think are a lot more expensive than shitty lamps.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was just thinking today about.
Yeah.
I bet they do like ring lights or something you just clipped here for all the streamers and stuff. I'm sure that's a huge cottage industry of like.
Oh yeah, just
lighting
studio
solutions.
light, yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
well in the 2000s. Well, because there's lamps that are supposed to like not be too warm or too cold, but they're more expensive than these shitty ones. Although, let's see, where am I? Yeah, although this one here is that one over there is actually an energy saver, because I had a box of those. So, I mean, I'm guessing it's not going to be that great, because it's supposed to be less energy. So that's something I would have to do. But and the camera, I had another camera that I thought was better than this one, but I don't think it is, which is weird, because this security I thought had a fisheye lens on it, but I think all the cameras have fisheye lens. Something I've learned in setting up cameras is that when cameras show you depth of field, it's like, makes everything look different. Because this backdrop that's behind me is like 7 feet wide, but you wouldn't know it from the camera.
Right. Yeah, it looks like it's almost directly behind you, too.
Yeah, and it's not. Like, you can see I can extend my arm and I can't even touch it.
Yeah.
You might be able to see. It's
wow,
it's more than arm's reach. Yeah, I know. It's like, whoa, it's that far away. It's like, yeah, it's that far away.
So
the perspective is crazy.
Like I told you, this is technically a security camera. In fact, one of the problems is that it has a speaker in it. I don't know why. So it's got a speaker and a microphone in it. So sometimes when I start Discord, it's running through the camera, which is hilarious. So I gotta tell it, no, use the real speakers. And let's see if I can get these down here. Oh my God, you guys gotta see my ghetto setup here. Look at these guys. Just look at them.
Nice.
I think
Classic.
I had those back in the 2000s.
On
like a Windows 98 machine.
My other speakers that I was using went bad. They had actually already gone bad while we were still streaming a couple months ago. One of the speakers went out, and then the other one went out. So because mono was fine for Discord, I mean, who gives a shit? But no, they just went out. So I dug those out of the moving boxes. I hesitate to ask how old they are. I was worried they were making feedback noises you could hear. And yeah, a lot of fun. But moving's been fun.
So we're all
okay. We're back.
Let's do it.
All right. So you guys survived your mission. You survived the duel. You handily defeated the mysterious knight, whose final words were "Curse you, Connor." And now we return to the siege. So
I'm glad the city hasn't burned down.
City's still standing. They've got one more day of fight in them. If you would like to roll for me, you guys will be rolling 4d6, 2d8, and a d12.
46, 2d8, and a d12? I bet I can roll that faster than Arclight can.
Let's find out.
46,
it's all right.
2d8.
Whoever rolls gets it.
Hey! Okay,
I
and
don't roll like Connor, so I roll like ass.
1, 2, 3, 4. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4. Tie game. You guys are at a deadlock.
I can't think of anything. Since they didn't win and we're the defenders, and I'm guessing what happens is, like, I keep invoking Game of Thrones, because that's how you know it's for adults. When it's for adults, tragedy everywhere.
Tragedy everywhere.
Tragedy everywhere. Incest victims kicked out of high windows. You know, that's what you come to Ironclaw for, right?
Right.
We can have the total dissonance of Redwall. Oh, look, it's cute children defending the castle, and then corpses dead of plague in the streets.
No, I think we got that last time when I did a beam clash with the literal god of necromancy. So
there we go. So what I'm guessing is they make one great effort. They make landfall again, come in here, take a bunch of stuff. This would be my take on it. The mercenaries probably show up and loot. Like they find the rich, knowing what they, being professional. Once again, my favorite comment from the Ironclaw book: the ones who work for them are pirates. The ones who work for us are privateers.
Right.
My guess is that the pirates land, find, say, okay, guys, make it good. Find the high class targets, raid the manor houses, which probably includes Connor's. Grab the rich stuff. Leave the people like where they are, because it's like, we're here for riches. So when you guys like hole up in the basement of the roundhouse, it's like, yeah, that's fine. We're here for we're here for the salt. We're here for the silverware and the salt shakers. Grab that and run. And because it's neutral. So on the one hand, we get what we want. We keep the city. The bad news is they get all our money. And I would guess that the next day after the supply camp is there, that's when they lose like half their guys. When half their guys say, we got rich stuff. Peace out. Good luck. Good luck with your empire.
Yeah, this is that final day of combat. The way that I'm imagining it is Connor has returned to the manor house. He can hear the fighting in the streets. And the doctors are telling him to basically say his final goodbyes to his father. That's
another question of like whether
likely
his father probably will. Is his father too sick to be moved?
Yeah. It's
okay. Yeah, I mean, they might be worried that if we move him, because that's why there's the sick rules in the book. It's like, no, guys, if you move him and he might lose another pip off of this, and then he's out of here. We don't want to risk him botching any rolls, because if he botches one more roll, that's it. He's gone. And is he going to get any better? So, time comes to us all. All I can say is,
thing Sir Connor could do.
I'm so glad the doctor isn't here to administer last rites, so Connor's dad can die with dignity.
But
And not
oh
as a
my
fake
god,
You do pray to me so I can appear in her room and everything.
Well, pray to Orcomancy. If only I had drunk and, if only I had cavorted and partied more.
If only
What kind of a religion is that?
While I was reading nice books.
Yeah, what kind of a religion is that? I got through this whole campaign without converting.
Nice. Okay, well, so this is the scene that I'm painting. Outside, the fighting is beginning to cease as night falls. It seems as though the Bisclavray are returning to their ships, and Fermarouge is still intact, if a little bit light on, wealth and supplies, but successfully defended.
Yeah, the average mob would call this success. Losing all of our money is just austerity. It builds character.
Exactly.
And I'll just sit there and stare.
And as they're sharing the moment, Connor's father will say, my son, I regret to leave you with a world going through such darkness as war ravages us from all sides. I wish only to impart to you this, that I am proud of you, my son, and that I know that with your strength and honor, you will lead our people through, and they will see bright days again. Oh, and we'll say that Arthur and Bruce are also in presence. They both have survived this well. And that's the real question.
Which one of them kills Connor to take his place?
No, sure, yeah. No, I mean, I was as we're closing out on this thing, there is that bilocation that never showed up. So, but it's up to you how you want to play that.
Oh, I would assume the doctor would shoot if he's got bilocation. Oh, just as I was saying, well, thank goodness the Archimedes aren't
right.
And he would definitely show up.
I could either save the father, or if Sir Connor is no, this is perfectly fine, everyone has a time, and he just fine and takes his power. We could only just backtrack and say the doctor appeared somewhere in the middle of the city, said a few words, raised one person, tried to throw a pamphlet at somebody, and then left with a salt shaker.
That's my favorite of the miracles.
Terrible.
Because it's the miracle of, oh no, this guy was spotted in 2 different cities at 2 different times by eyewitnesses that can no way corroborate how that would happen. It's obviously you just saw someone who looked like the doctor. Think he's the doctor, just wrote down because there's no way to prove it. No, it must be a miracle.
It was a miracle, yo.
But yeah, it's great. If Connor doesn't want to ruin his own moment with
in fact,
resurrecting the father.
If you look at the rules, you get a bonus the farther away you bilocate.
Wow, oh yeah, no, funny. It's easier the further it is.
It's more, the more ridiculous it is, the more likely it is to work. Because
delightful.
As I want Connor to lead the family and have that be sort of the bittersweet happy ending. If you want to raise his father, and that'd be fine too. I'd have fun either way.
Sure, we could always go ahead and do that little scene too. We know what'll happen in one possibility. The other one is the doctor walks in from off screen.
Yeah.
From around here. No one knows how he got into the castle. This weird armadillo just approaches your father and will say a couple prayers. First, let's see if I bilocate. I have 3D12.
Yeah.
You might not even
bilocate within 8 meters of myself. That's pretty good. Now let me go ahead and go over to Lazarus Heart. I think I got some rules all the way up here I can roll.
So wait, so he does show up as a miracle. It's how did you get here? That's not for earthly concerns.
Right, that's see. Wonderful. Anushka's just what you're supposed to be.
I thought, yeah, and I'll just turn to Anushka and go, it's all right. I've defeated Agamemnon, and explains nothing further about the statement.
You're back.
Oh, beautiful.
Ooh. So that is a little rough, but he's only been dead in under an hour. So what does that turn into?
Well, those are all triple sixes.
No.
Dead to sick.
Okay, so congratulations. As part of the miracle, no, your father is not yet dead, and as a miracle, he lived for another 8 days.
However, I do also have healing. And this is the point where I'll ask him if he's accepted the life of Salamir into his heart.
You know what?
In these trying times.
No, it's not Salamir. He would have to convert to orchamency to get that favorite use.
Oh shit! Really?
That's his favorite use.
And drinking.
He's been doing this to us the whole game. His favorite use is on orcamines to get you to convert, which I have just steadfastly refused to do.
It also gets to roll will. If I'm checking out versus
he does get to roll. Yeah, he gets his will die.
I think he would convert. I think you should deserve one person converting. I mean, you did bring him back. You did bring him back to life. He abdicated his throne and then begins a life of...
his throne. Everyone confirms he died, so Connor still gets...
I know, that's why I'm, like, exasperated. But, yeah, and there's even precedent for that, because that's in the history of the book, that, like, Abradaplot penitents keep showing up and restoring them to life.
So, firstly, on anything, he still has to roll will. If he doesn't succeed on will, even converting doesn't save him from sickness.
Okay.
All right, roll that will die. You need 4 better.
Here we go.
Or you need to beat the turn. No, he dies anyway! So he converts to orchamency.
There's still a chance. If he converts to orchamency and then I spend my personality,
why wouldn't you?
I mean, yeah, this is it. So
you have a chance to convert Farabrouge from penitence to orchamency. Why wouldn't you take this? Because Abradaplot enforces whose region his religion. Whatever religion the regent is, everyone has to be the same one.
Oh my god, that's delightful. Am I rolling personality?
No, you're rolling... I guess you could roll personality on this too, but you're rolling orcamine if you choose to convert.
Yes, what would that be?
A D12.
Oh, cool. Okay. Then yeah, no, he's gonna choose to convert. Yeah, he's just...
Okay.
Hey!
There you go. Now, if I spend my personality, I'm assuming he can't spend his personality anymore, otherwise he wouldn't be in this terrible position, right?
Yeah, he's on death
so if I spend my personality and go, I really want this to work for once, we'll see if it works. 3!
So he converts to orchamency but dies anyway.
Proportionally
dies.
dies.
Anything else I can tap? I don't think so. Healing
Knack for Lazarus hearts.
Sort of skill, I don't think.
No, healing's just a spell. So no, that's it. So the good news is he converted. The bad news is he died.
Yeah, at his last moment, the doctor comes in just to convert him. Says, I defeated all evil. And...
Oh no!
There is a quick question before he goes that he does convert, but he dies. Did you want him to devote some or all of his fortune to the church?
Oh, that's even worse. Like, hey, sorry I couldn't save your dad, but I did make him
into his hand.
I did make him revoke his previous religion before he died. So,
it was
well, you could make him donate as part of my dying before I pass it on. I donate 1/10 or 1/5 or half or some part of my wealth as an indulgence to the Orcamines to build a monastery or something else here. I mean, are you that oily?
Yeah. Yeah, you are.
I got a negotiation, me. Let's do it.
I mean, that's what I would roll.
Yeah.
Okay. I love that I've destroyed all
the once again,
scene.
For people playing along at home, this is why we like this game is highly just Middle Ages. Like, turns out before the regent died, like minutes before he died, he was visited by a miracle and just gave us all the land to build this abbey.
Huh. Interesting that. And who else was in the room when this happened?
There were witnesses. Everything.
That is at least one success, and maybe I could roll negotiation if I stick around for like an hour.
You can't though.
Yeah, it's for like a scene.
I think but But I think his success is good.
At most,
Some
he probably
portion.
gives you guys a plot of land or something like that.
Yeah.
And let it be
Hey,
reserved.
there you go. I got a retirement.
There'll be a chapel reserved for the Orcamines for this visitation. I feel happy. Ugh. I think I'm ready. He just showed up, got a concession out of the guy, and then left with no explanation. And it's somehow a miracle, and you got shit out of it.
Hey,
Everyone,
it's the will of the light.
Head out of respect for a second. They look up. The doctor's suddenly gone, but they still see the bill.
But the bill remains.
I mean, and this is totally like a Middle Ages thing. Like you would see, like, welcome to the Church of the Unknown Doctor. Why, legend has it that it was founded because of all of this.
Amazing.
That's how we know he was a saint. He said that he was actually also somewhere else, according to a friend.
Well, they're gonna have to. The best part about this, though, the only best revenge is they could call it the Church of Saint whatever, and they could put whatever name they want on it, and you can't tell them no.
Sir Connor, as the new ruler, what are you calling the church?
Well, what's Connor? What's your dad's name?
I believe it's Arthur. Let me check.
Yeah,
Saint Arthur.
I think it would be Saint Arthur. I would think it would be the Fane of Saint Arthur, dedicated because he converted to Orcamency, and then it's just going to turn to a stupid beer hall.
Oh, it's Andre. I'm sorry,
Andre. There you go.
Andre.
I was like, Arthur's the brother? I don't think he was a junior.
Arthur's the brother. So it would be Saint Andre, and it might be Saint Andre de Fer or something like that. Yeah, and it's like, welcome to the Church of Saint Andre de Fer, where we never turn a sinner from our door. And it's like,
The real miracle was that the king lasted another 8 days on his own power, you see.
Yeah, miserable 8 days.
Yeah.
And he probably only lasts 1 or 2, but they write down 8 in the record because that sounds better. Welcome to the freaking Middle Ages.
Okay. I gotta draw the curtain on this scene of ridiculousness. That was a good campaign, everybody. GG.
Congratulations.
I'm sorry I missed so much of it, but it's good to be back.
I know it was a few sessions at the end there, but yeah, I'm glad that we got you here and that we got to finish it all together. I do want to do a debrief for the sake of souvenirs. Those of you who finished, you did manage to save Connor's family. It's going to be a trait increase is the gift for that. So if we ever want to come back to these characters and play a ridiculously high level Ironclaw game, or what have you, I do want to do a debrief, and I do want to do 2 things. We've got 15 minutes, so I think there'll be time for this. I'm curious. It doesn't have to be long or in depth, but I'm curious if you guys want to do like a "Where Are They Now" style, like 2-sentence epilogue for your characters after the events.
Yeah, let's go ahead and go through everyone real quick and just have some fun with it.
That could just be fun. And then I also want to know what you guys thought of the campaign in general. What kind of things did you like, and what did you think? What did you learn, or what do you think could be improved? I'll be thinking about that too while we go through our epilogue. And let's start with Arcloyd, because this was very Connor centric. We have gone several sessions without much Connor activity, but we made up for him here.
I'd say
so. Where do you think Connor goes after the events of this campaign?
He's probably going to be busy presiding over Fair Marouge and working on rebuilding the damages that were caused by the siege.
Makes sense. And I assume Potter survived the whole campaign.
No. What session did he come in from?
Like 2?
I know, right? All the way through.
2 or 3?
Yeah,
I tried to kill him a few times.
Burning of Mage Cross, so like session 3.
Yeah.
I like what's going on with your camera right now. Your camera is going crazy.
Oh yeah.
We're speaking to the spectral void of red now. That's fine.
No, this is the max headroom red.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know why my camera. It looks fine on my end, but I'll just turn my camera.
Oh no, I wish you would have left that on.
Sorry.
Everyone was like, "No, the glitch was better."
I'm just nervous.
It was amazing.
I don't like it when I know people. I look funny and I don't know what I look like.
No, you were like the glitch was more like time based. Like you had frozen for a bit and then it would caught up.
Oh, and it was like a fast, like a.
But it was repeating it constantly.
Oh,
so you
weird.
were stuck in a loop.
Okay, weird.
Yeah, that's weird.
Who can say, man? No one really. The internet. How does it work? No one really knows. So.
I know it doesn't.
Right? It doesn't. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So yes, let's move right along. So Griff.
What happens to the doctor after all of this? I think after all of this excitement, I think maybe he might go and hang out with Sir Connor at Fair Rouge. There's this nice new place that he gets to officiate. He can drop anonymous and just say, yes, I am Good William, the local priest. And just kind of like frown a little bit at the name, but you know what? He doesn't even care. This works out even better for him. So he gets to spend all of his time whining and dining around here, personally coming to see Sir Connor every now and then and steal some silverware.
Nice. Okay, cool. And we didn't hear from Adris all session, but we left him in a very interesting spot. What do you think becomes of Adris, Theta?
Oh, he dies.
He dies?
He plays
How
too
does he
hard of
die?
a political game. He gets the little finger. You know, it's the he played the game too hard, and eventually it's just gonna come up on him. Slept with too many
really
wives.
Good at attracting lots of attention, and it just gets him the wrong attention.
Yeah, that too.
Gotcha.
Slept with too many wives. I mean, he obviously has the path towards like Conan style, right? Became a king through his own power. But no, he plays too much of a seduction politics game for that.
Gotcha.
So he's probably just gonna be found dead in a ditch somewhere.
How much gossip do you have at the end here? How many?
I don't know. Let me open my sheet.
You were rolling like 12.
Well, also a lot of them. Let's see. Gossip. Let's see. Marks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Add 8 dice in it.
Yeah.
Wow. And then the rest were assistants. Everyone can see that you're the most popular person in every single room. Of course they want you gone.
Well, like I said, it's not so much the people that like him. I'm sleeping with everyone's wives in every scene that I'm in, so...
Yeah, that eventually comes back.
Yeah, the people that don't like me are gonna figure it out and get up together.
At least your progeny continue on.
Well, like I said, I brought her up at the last time he was in, that he is the first son of the line. That's why they wanted him back when he was in Triskellion. It's like, you've got to take over. What are you doing? I was playing a real, the Eddie Murphy movie, Coming to America.
Yeah.
I was playing a real Coming to America, that I went out to have fun and be free, and the house is trying to get me back.
Right.
Yep.
And that leaves Good Anushka.
Well, Anushka, I think, like, the hero of this epistolary novel here, where I wrote down everything that I witnessed and saw, and write the epilogue of this. I suppose I write a book about this and then publish it because I can read. And then
reading was the magic all along.
Yeah. And then after this, I suppose, well, I didn't actually make a fortune out of all of this, because even though I was witness to all of this stuff, there weren't any great rewards or anything to reap from all of this. So I suppose eventually, who knows what would happen to Anushka? Eventually, she would settle down, I think, and raise a family, because that's the way, I think the way she is.
Where do you think she would settle down?
I probably would leave Calabria. I think the way we would end this novel of the series is then I journey to a faraway land, but that's a tale for another time. And then we close
the lands of the
book.
east to retire with the elves.
Oh, the real Conan ending. I will say I was kind of disappointed that y'all voted against Harmon coming back as a wraith. Only because I could see his ending coming as the Colette being the one to reason him down and take him out.
Oh,
the thing is, I can't imagine anyone surviving after that. Harmon comes back, everyone dies.
Well, that's what I was saying. The Colette would be the one to take him out. The emotional.
The only one who could.
But yeah, that was
okay.
So that was I mean, I already said I was enjoying the game a lot, and I have noticed that man, this is coming up recently. Like, I was complaining about the phrase generic fantasy. That a lot of times, people and by generic fantasy they mean Dungeons and Dragons, and everything turns into D&D, where it's all murder hobos, and destiny, and fate, and monsters, and bloodbaths, and all of that kind of stuff. And that's why I continually quote, like, I'm still flattered that people compared Ironclaw to both Redwall and Game of Thrones, because those are two, big inspirations. Because Redwall it's about people who don't want to die or be enslaved, which I think is something people
generally just trying to keep their monastery intact. Yeah.
Right, but the variety of different, things, that's also very kiddie. Like, my usual issue with Redwall is it vacillates between, like, very dark and mature themes, and then we'll have children bake a cake.
Yeah, it definitely. Now that I've read some of it, it has that very like YA fantasy vibe, even though there's a lot of very interesting political things happening.
Right, and it also has a lot of we make this up as we go along, and so for every Salamandastron, there's a Muriel the Bellringer. So, but moving on, but also Game of Thrones was like Game of Thrones to me was a lot like classic stuff like Belgariad or Crom or that sort of thing, which was political. It was like, sure, we live in a fantasy world, but we're all like motivated and doing stuff. And I think the television series just kind of gets overloaded with the I guess we have to have lots of boobies and blood.
Right.
So this was striking a good balance where, like, I'm always talking about how I like that the enemies have realistic motivations. They are often short-sighted and petty, which is their downfall. One of the things that Ironclaw was built around that everyone embraced is the idea that everything is really difficult, but you can buy skinny things. I mean, one thing I enjoy about the game is Anushka goes from being someone who has almost like messenger skills and that's it, into I learned languages, I learned academics, I learned politics, and I learned fighting. And all of those turned me, into a character that responded to the world that I was in. And eventually I got high enough numbers that I could defeat some of these overwhelming odds. It's not the, Oblivion problem. So, no, I felt like the world mimicked that. Like, people that I met, had realistic motivations. Everyone knew their little scopes of what they wanted to do. So you did a really good job of keeping that feel. Like, often when you play these games, they often feel very computerized or rote, where bad guys do things because they're bad and everyone's just puppets of the big bad, and the world doesn't feel real. It feels like an amusement park where everyone just shows up. So this felt like a living, breathing world where I cared about stuff and people had motivations, and like all that was important to me. So I had a lot of fun, and thank you very much for running this game.
Thank you for playing, and thank you for saying so. I'm happy that came across. I feel like I learned a lot. I've said this a bunch of times. I've learned a lot both about the system of Ironclaw from this game and also about the world of Ironclaw. I felt like it was kind of like there's a lot of tourism, and I got to learn a lot about how these different, there's a lot of setting, there's a lot of lore baked into this game, but it's not all written down in the lore section. A lot of it comes out through the mechanics, which is great, but it's stuff that you wouldn't really understand until you get to play it. I think playing it with you, Raph, was also a huge treat because you get this sort of insider insight to.
Oh, well, I learned a lot too, because
intentionality.
there's a lot of this that's obvious to me. You can see the gray hair on my head. I'm an old school gamer, so there's a like I'm always fond of joking about, like they didn't have to describe what a beta Corbin or a Lucerne hammer was in D&D because they assumed everyone knew what it was. Now we're 2 generations removed from that.
Yeah.
And so people come to the game with different assumptions, like how every dungeon describes how it's lit.
Right.
There's already illumination there. I mean, like that's always a little shocking to me that would happen. And so there's a lot of stuff that, that's why I always bring up Game of Thrones. Like Game of Thrones is written as a political thriller. Like if Game of Thrones is just a political thriller, no one would blink twice at it. But it's a fantasy, and suddenly, oh my God, you can have intrigue and murder and subterfuge and fantasy? What?
Right.
Mind blown. It's like, and also like I think a lot of people are used to the idea that role playing versus role playing. A lot of people are used to the idea of story is happening. The black bars are on the top of the screen. Okay, everyone stop pushing buttons. Story is happening, and we'll like one shot people or use abilities that we'll never see anywhere else in the game because it's story time and it's happening because of story. Okay, now we gave your controls back to you. Now you're murder hobos again. And I don't enjoy that kind of storytelling. I don't enjoy those kinds of computer games. And people, I think, are so used to it in tabletop gaming that it's become expected. Like people are expecting that. And Ironclaw, as you mentioned, like is different. Like Ironclaw, we don't have rules that circumvent intrigue. They supplement it or work with it. If you want to have a big dramatic showdown with one guy, we just saw it with all of these replays and toughnesses and things that they tap, where it was like, okay, it's play by play. It's not, okay, a number went down. So
Right, there's interaction actually going on, and things are going back and forth.
And we can describe it. Like you notice, I would try to take time to describe. Like Connor goes like this, but because it's the replay, he uses his buckler to go ahead and get a punch in there, and then the guy staggers back, and then when Connor stops to focus, that's Connor baiting him. And that's the way it would look in dramatic, like, embellishing that, but also like that stuff that's happening instead of we just sat there and rolled 20 attack rolls in a row and then described them. It's like the mechanics are showing this fight played out this way because these people were built this way and it made for a dramatic encounter. And so they work together.
Yeah.
And that's something that I am proud of. So I'm glad you enjoyed that. And I like the fact that even with this last final battle, I like the fact that I know enough about the world that when things happen, like I know some things can happen and some things don't, and that makes the world feel real to me. If everything is just happening because it's magic, then, I become disinterested because nothing makes any sense. This felt like I felt bad when people got hurt, especially when I could prevent it. And that makes me feel good when I can prevent it.
Yeah. Well, I think the other thing that I really learned from this game is like traditionally, in my past games that I've run, it has been a lot of narrative first, and it has been kind of like it's been like what you described, where people are creating a story, and really it's maybe rule of cool is what you'd call it, but it's like, what's the epic genre appropriate thing to happen now? That's kind of what's going to happen now. From playing this game, I've come to embrace this idea of like, letting the mechanics kind of dictate the flow a little bit and being like, well, you know what? We don't know what's going to happen. I mean, there's a degree of this in like all good dungeon mastering, game mastering and stuff, I think too.
Well,
but
you know me, like I'm complaining that games are against it. Like I once was in a siege adventure where I said, haha, we've locked them in the throne room. Now we can just starve them out. And someone shouts, yes, a third level cleric. Like, damn it.
Exactly, right? That's the thing. So, but I like that too.
Yeah, I mean, it's like whereas in this game, it's kind of like, well, they have these kinds of cannons and they're using. I mean, like they had a badass guy defending the camp, and it's like, okay, so that's romantic, but we defeat them using our raw power of numbers and our choices. It plays out. The way we build our characters and the way our characters are evolving is influencing the power that we have in the game. And what we observe also allows us to control stuff. It's not just, okay, hand wave, you need to do this now, so we'll just describe all of it. I mean, we're treading this. I always like the idea that the rules and the story should work together to make a bigger experience.
Exactly.
And like I said, this was a lot of fun. So I really hope everyone else really enjoyed it, because I did.
Thank you. I'm glad.
It was all good.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm glad that you guys had fun. This is not the longest campaign I've run, but it's certainly the longest Ironclaw campaign that I've run. And we want to keep going. We're going to do something else. We're probably going to stick with Ironclaw, right? But we'll talk about that off the air, exactly what we want to do and when we want to do it. But yeah. And I think total we came over 60 sessions, which is not bad.
Good number.
Sizable. So I feel like I had something else to say, which is why I'm kind of petering out and stalling here. But maybe I can't remember it. So
I think this is the most experienced character I've ever run.
Right, that was the other question I was going to ask too, because this is interesting. We definitely, and we had some character resets, but we do have half the party stayed with the same character from the beginning to the end. I feel like if we go forward, I feel like I would probably, and we talked about this off the air too, I would probably run this game in fewer sessions. Like, I think a campaign maybe half this size would probably make more sense. I feel like the way that the abilities in this game stack get to a point where...
Right, you would have a specific story you want to present, you run the length of the story, and then it ends, right?
Yeah, I like that we did something where...
we did like a whole lot of rambling, I suppose.
Yeah, well, I like that your
Which
actions and
because,
decisions...
like, other people will play it as like a game where they just want to arrive every week, play their character, and have some fun. But I think, like, mechanically, once people get up to this level of power, I guess the stakes really do have to be raised a whole lot.
Yeah, I think
I feel bad because I think a lot of people do show up and it's like, they had a hard week at work or at school or at both, and they just want to sit down and have some fun. And here I am, Rafferty, who hates
Ready to ruin it.
Ready to ruin it. Well, it's a... I don't even know if economy of scale is the right words for it, but it's that the game does stack on top of each other, abilities on top of abilities. I think I'm proud of, by the end of this thing, I think I got the message, and I'm proud of creating characters
Play. My friend is going to set up something that is fair for us. And so if we just roll into directly what they're saying, we'll be in a fair engagement.
As long as
hard
we
to get them to engage in a different way with that.
Yeah, I mean, the old school, unless Theta is your game master, once again, I love you, Theta. It's not going to be the kind of game where you get killed. Like the old school tomato mulcher games are the ones where they would kill you. And most modern games are, let's have a lot of fun and death is a revolving door. So as long as we do what we're supposed to, we'll make progress on it's an amusement park ride. And, once I always feel bad because like I don't enjoy that kind of stuff because I'd rather be in a world that has a story and characters that I care about. Because, I deliberately chose Anushka to play in this game because I deliberately wanted to choose a character that I don't usually play. Because I often will play guys like Anton or Deirdre or even Mavra, characters that have a lot of power and aren't afraid to use it.
Yeah.
And Anushka is deliberately built as a support character that won't necessarily eclipse anyone else. But as you can see, the way Ironclaw is made is you can evolve your character and become someone. And like you may have heard me doing a lot of moments in the game where I said, well, okay, I would do this, but Anushka wouldn't. And that's like not a thing. I think, I'm not even sure that's a thing anymore, because it used to be a thing in old school role-playing games where we'd say, rise to the challenge of playing someone who isn't like you. And I don't see that. I see a lot of the opposite, where just make a character who's exactly like you, but way better at murder.
Yes. Make a character that's like
with a
you.
Character like that, and they died session 2, so I had to come back with just me in a robe.
And then played him for the rest of the game.
Yeah. I'm not saying you can't play that and you can't have fun with it. I'm saying that that's a certain mentality that you have to be in. Like you have to buy into that. And, like I could go on about the bizarre legacy features that are still built into D&D that fight that. But, it was, I wanted, because I feel better about that. It's like what I was talking about. We talked about this in Urban Jungle, the ice cream for dinner theory, that if I'm getting everything I want all the time, I might think I'm enjoying it, but there's no catharsis. There's no effort into it. And after a while, the pointlessness of it gets to me. Whereas in a game like this, it's like, I can get immersed. Like even though the first time I came to Farabush, they tried to imprison me, it's like there's still innocent people here that I would rather not see get hurt.
Yeah.
And then the fact that they could get hurt actually like matters to me. It's like, I don't know, but I can go, I want to be positive. And that's why I'm saying like, this felt, people might say, well, you're biased because it's Ironclaw. It's like, well, no, I think Red did a really good job of bringing out a fantasy world filled with like, where we're actors beside other people, and the motivations of other people and their well-being and stuff are stuff we consider.
I think on that note, I think like the thing I want to say like you did really good is like the entire supporting cast like that we've had like across the entire journey that like filters in and out, that we actually care about, and like is like a good part of our motivator in doing things. Like I think that definitely helped out a whole lot.
Colette was this close to getting killed. Like I thought that was like. I say it's hilarious, but I really mean like it was appropriate for the story, where there was that one moment where Colette was unattended and zombies came out and rushed her. And if she had rolled just a little worse, she would have been torn limb from limb.
Yeah.
And the fact that she wasn't and then survived all the way to the end of the campaign, that like it's weird that I talk about like that being one of my high points of the game, but that's one of my high points of the game.
I've seen a lot of games that like refuse to have NPCs engage with the players and join them along or try to do something. And I think it really has made like the experience of role playing worse. And like this has been a fun experience because we get to have people and enjoy like being alongside them for a while and doing things.
And
I'm glad.
And helping them actually matters and builds the story. Like we're not, we're always talking about how we're not murder tourists. It's like
the last thing we did at the game, which was to like convert this random soldier and then teach her light magic. That was like really quick. That was end of game, but it was also just kind of funny to see happen. It's like, oh, cool. Here's the scenario where we have literally changed someone's life, probably for the more interesting, just honestly by talking with them. We never came to blows with them. We were antagonized, but we had fun with it.
Yeah, and I'm proud. For me, like the world is my player character, and I try to present something that is internally consistent and something that feels engaging, in characters that you love or you hate, but you don't feel indifferent about. And you're never going to get a 100% success rate. So I take some credit for that. Thank you, but I think it's also worth pointing out that I think the game mechanics also inspire you to play that way and create scenarios where these characters, like you were saying. This is a world where the rules that make your characters are the same rules that make every creature you're going to come across. And that's, I think, I was going to say it earlier, but I think that's one of the biggest differences between this game and a lot of other games that I've played. And it creates a very interesting game, that maybe is something that has fallen out of favor, or maybe is just common to games that I don't play that often, but I really like it. So, kudos to the craftsmanship of the rules as well. And Okay, so we're about 10 minutes over.
Let's wrap it up.
So maybe now it's time to wrap it up. And thank you all. If you stuck with us this far, give yourself a round of applause as well. And thank you guys so much for playing. And I look forward to playing more Ironclaw, which is a fantastic game. So, yeah.
Right.
Anyone want to plug anything or do the wave?
Just to let people know, the internet situation here has been crappy. I won't go into the big details, but no, we are still alive. We're still working on Book of Corals. As you saw, if you were watching this stream, watching me cut out 4 or 5 times in a row, I've been on an adventure. But no, we are working on it. Thanks everybody who stopped by at AnthroCon. It was good to see all of you. So yeah, we are finishing that stuff up, and we got some more exciting stuff planned. SanguineGames.com.
Awesome. Okay.
All right. You can catch us on Twitch and YouTube, twitch.tv.ractus and YouTube Ractus, and come see all of our content. And come see us next time, everybody.
Until then.
Till then, everybody.
Good night, everybody.